Welcome to my hobby. A lot of my friends know I like a punt. They also know I don't like losing. I'm pretty good at the punt. I don't bet a lot or outlay too heavily because I don't like to lose. But I like to give myself a chance to get some of my money back, if not make a profit. And it led me to developing a horse racing program based on a few facts that are known, like in how fast a horse can run, the track condition, the time a horse race was running. And it was born out of my belief that these things could lead you to narrowing a field, so to speak, no matter how big a field it was and over whatever distances and what track conditions. I'd build factors into this program to try and level the playing field or bring everything back to a good track rating, whether they'd run on slow tracks, heavy tracks, fast tracks. And my theories were based on, say, Olympic runners, for instance, over 100 metres. You could pretty much line them up in their day as to who was going to win gold, silver, bronze. You know, they were pretty consistent with their times, probably full of drugs. That's a factor you couldn't factor in. It's the same with horses. You never know when they're going to get pulled up or run up bums of other horses or get blocked for a run. They're just the things that you can't control. But say in the days of Carl Lewis, you just knew what times he was running and what he was capable of. If all was good, you know, he didn't have a guts ache. So that was my theory. So I started to build this race program. I built it in Microsoft Access. Now, they're pictures that I borrowed. I think that was nearly a dead heat in the Melbourne Cup or the Caulfield Cup, I think. But anyway, I digress. So what it was you input the horse details of the last three starts, and you'd put in the distance that they ran, the winning time in seconds, the weight that the horse carried, how many lengths it was beaten by, and the track condition that it ran on the day. And you just kept entering them in here and going through them until you got all the horses in. And this one's already got horses in it from the last time I used it. It was fairly labour intensive. It took me ages to put the data in just by typing it in from reading it off the form guide. And it had put me to sleep, quite frankly. Many a times I fell off the chair, sound asleep, hit the deck. Anyway, after you got it all in, you hit the fastest average times report here, and that generated the average time and its previous 3 times. Now, that's only had one horse entered into it because I haven't used this program for that long. But anyway, you end up with them all rowed up in the average times. That's the average of the 3 last times it raced, and then its very fastest of those 3 times in the middle row. So that was my old program. But all these reports and integers and macros that are working in behind here to calculate, and the track condition, for instance, all of those ratings there that I've got. Say if it was on a good track, well, you never got any allowance, no seconds in time were removed, because usually a good time on a good track to a heavy track, the time difference is about 4 seconds. So if good being 0, fast being +1 second, to heavy being -3, there's your 4 seconds difference between a good track or a fast track to a heavy track. So all that sort of stuff's in there doing the calculations in the background for me when I calculate it. And it's the same with weight the horse carried in the race to what it's going to carry in this upcoming race. All of those factors get put into it. And it is all worked out on how fast a horse can move its body length a second, and how long it takes a horse to run 1,000 metres using averages of times over the journey. So, you know, most horses that are average or good to average, they'll run 1,000 metres in 58 seconds. Usually on a heavy track, probably 1 minute, 1 minute and one, something like that. So all of these factors go into my program, and I won't go into any more detail, just bore you to death. So I'll close that down. What I was hoping to achieve for many, many years, and I built that program back in 1995, and it was based on a program, or what I used to do in my head. I used to, there's the 1989 Caulfield Cup there. That is my original first go at working a rating system, and it picked out coal diesel. Now, there's not a horse's name written in here deliberately. That's so that I wouldn't be biased in who I came up with. I wouldn't let my heart overrule my maths here. So I didn't put the horse's name in, but I can assure you the one that came up on top was coal diesel, and it was the winner of the 1998. Was that 1998 I said? Close that down. Yeah, 1989 Caulfield Cup coal diesel. So that was my first attempt at it, and it progressed into that Race MDB shortcut until a year ago, when a mate of mine suggested I stick it up on a site, gurus.com, and see if I could get somebody to automate it for me, because I'd completely forgotten all that coding and how to do it over the years, and it was just starting to get beyond me. So I showed him all my formulas, sent them all to him, and got this bloke in Australia, and he said, yes, I can do that. So he created what you see here, and what you do is you run what is called the Auto Horse Form EXE, and what that does is it goes off and it drags down the form that I need from the internet. Now it starts to see how it's running down. That's the next 3 days racing in the entire country, and it's bringing it all into my horse racing program. Each race all over the states, and it's calculating with my calculations. It's absolutely brilliant how he got this to do this. It just leaves me speechless, really. I mean, it saved me hours and hours and hours. Anyway, that's having a bit of a think about something there. Now it's continuing to go. And just let that, see how long that's going to take. And trust me to be doing this on a Friday, because you've got big meetings on Saturday and Sunday, so this is its heaviest amount of data that it's downloading. Usually only takes a couple of minutes, if that. I've had some amazing success with the program. There it is, it's done. So once it's done that, you go down to what I call the wow adjuster. That was to add in scores out of 10. If a horse I knew to be better than average, I could give it a rating as well as what its form line was coming up as. So we double click on the wow adjuster, and that's how it's going to look. Now all of these are what is called the data folder, and they've got the dates of each day's racing here. It's amazing, you know, it just drops them all into its date folders. Take today, for instance, which is the 22nd of the 7th. So we'll click on that and we'll go to Geelong Synthetic. There's race 1. See, I wouldn't look at race 1 because there's too many first starters. See all the zeros? They haven't raced. So of course they're going to be up at the top. So race 2, race 3, they're all in there. Race 4, so race 4 here, Junior Burger, has come up on top. Now there's that's a first starter, you see. So that's why it's up on top. So there's no form on it. Race 6. What I look for is something like this. See that minute 13? See the next horse? 116 as against 113 to 116. There's a whopping 3 and a bit seconds difference. That's huge. Considering horses move their body length, something like 6 lengths a second. So you've got that one there, it's got a big gap. Now it could be an anomaly with weight, might have been over big distances and it's adjusting it to a smaller distance, and that's when my program can get out a bit. But then you come over to the average time and it's still on top, and it's at least 2 seconds ahead of the next best horse. So it warrants looking at. So I then go off to the betting sites and I have a look at it, and we go to racing and we look at Geelong, and Geelong's already been going now for, it's only 2 minutes away to race 7. So what race was that one I'm looking at? I'm looking at race 6. Oh dear me. Look at those results. Music to Midnight, and it's paid $28 and $6.10. Now, I wonder how I went with my first fours and trifectas there. So you go full race result and see who ran fourth. I usually take first fours. I use about a third of the field for a first four to try and make sure that you get them. I know, and I only aim for about 3 or 4%. You know, it might cost you $200. But the fourth horse was like a tiller. So 10, 3, 5 and 2. Where were they in my program? 10, 3, 5 and 2. So 10's on top. 5, 3, where's 2? There's 2 there. Okay, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you get the first 4 in your 7. There might have been a scratching in that race, so I might have to take one of those out. So was there any scratchings? Number 13 was scratched. So what you do is you come into my program and you put your finger on number 13 and you scratch it, and that takes it out of the, but it made no difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've had to come, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd have got that first 4 in the first 6. So it did make a difference, number 13 being taken out. Now, I've got a bet calculator. I've got a bet calculator that can calculate what that would cost to put on. Tab. So a first 4 6 runners, flexi boxed, so 6 of them. If I put that on for $200, that gets you 55% of that first 4. So if I put it on for 100, that gets me 27% of that first 4. So that first 4 paid. Let's have a look. First 4. That's paid 18,000. That first 4. There it is there. Oh, it makes me sick. All right. So that's just that one example there. And as luck would have it, it's a good one. What I mainly bet on is parlay Formula 2s. And I've got this Word document here that explains a parlay Formula 2. And it's a type of bet where you only need 2 legs to be successful to get a payment or get some form of dividend back or some amount of your money back. Now Tabcorp has 6 races that you can do it in, just 6 legs. On Sportsbet you can have a 25 leg one and just keep putting them in. So this is explaining what it would cost to have a 6 leg one for $1 on the win, and it'd cost you $15. You can afford to miss. You don't need to get them all to win. You just need 2 of them to win to get a return. If you get 3 of them to win, even better still. And I do it with jockeys mainly. I follow jockeys because you never know what jockeys, what winners they're going to ride. Some good jockeys like Hugh Bowman and Dean Yandel, they could ride 4 winners in a day in a meeting, but you don't know which 4 they're going to ride. So I'll take all their rides. I'll take all 6 or all 8 of their rides. And if they ride 4, well, stand back, Jack, I'm in the money. Anyway, this is the, you can hit the pause button here and have a read of that if you needed to catch up on what I might be writing there. So I'll just drop that down. I'll show you some other pictures here of some interesting bets I've had. Where'd that folder go? There it is. This one here, what it gives you is your average times of your 3 races, your 3 previous races. Then it gives you a column here of the very fastest time out of those races, all put into ascending order. Then you get a score. Whoever finishes on top gets 20, I think I made it 24 points, 23 points, 22, 21 and so on down, and the same on that column. So they cross over each other, hence I called them superimposed, this column. And the score here of 47 would mean that Ali Vital finished on top there, but finished second here. So he doesn't get the full 24 and the full 24, he gets 24 and 23 equals 47. So there he is on top. That's the likely one of the 2 of them. Anyway, this particular first 4 got picked. I can't remember in how many, but I think it was in the first 6. And that paid, where is it? There it is there. That paid $72,000, that first 4. Not to mention the trifecta, what it paid. But there's another example. Where is the Caulfield Cup? There's a Caulfield Cup there. Eye Popper, one of the very first Japanese horses to come out. See how far out on front my program had it? Nearly 7 seconds. I could not shake it, and it smacked them. Or Railings, I think, won that. It ran second. Not sure, can't remember, but I think it raced in the Melbourne Cup and won the Melbourne Cup. So its form was exposed by my race program. And then in 2006, Delta Blues Caulfield Cup went around at 50s, and Pop Rock was pretty long odds too. They're both Japanese horses. They were up on the top, and at that stage Delta Blues was 80 to 1 for the Melbourne Cup, and I thought about backing it before the Caulfield Cup, before it showed its hand. Anyway, it went wide at Caulfield and it nearly won. It got beaten by Pop Rock, I think, but it might not have, because then it raced in the Melbourne Cup and they Quinella the Cup, and Delta Blues went around after it showed its hand. They punted it in from 80s into about 20 to 1, and it won. I haven't got the picture there of my horse program, but it had it on top in the Melbourne Cup also. There's another one, Caulfield 1998. Oh, this is a ripper. Torfin's Melody. It knocked over Champagne and there was a protest. And you can see where I've got written here, Chris Munt's protest against the winner, Jezebel, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't upheld, it was dismissed. Anyway, Torfin's Melody was an English horse brought out, and my program had it on top. I couldn't shake it from either column. And Damien Oliver rode this thing here, Faithful Son. That was another English horse. I was living in Queensland at the time, and I had to walk to the tote, put my bets on, and then walk home so I could, what was I doing? I had to do something. I couldn't stay at the pub anyway. I had to come home. And I put Torfin's Melody on as the anchor to win the race from my top 5, I think it was. What have I got here? Trifecta 9 from 16, 7, 12, 11, 18 and 1. Now Fairform was scratched at the barrier, played up. If I'd have been in the tote, I'd have put Tie the Knot in. That was the favourite. My program had its second last pick. I'd have thrown the favourite in and got another bet on, but I couldn't because I wasn't there. Torfin's Melody won, paid $65. The time, see the time of the race? Look at the time my horse program had it at. 150.85, 150.16. Anyway, the trifecta paid on the Victorian tote something like, I've got it written here somewhere. Trifecta in New South Wales paid 30-odd thousand. I think it paid, I can't see what it paid. Anyway, the 3 different totes. I reckon, and this Faithful Son was butchered by Oliver. It ran 4th. Tie the Knot got into 3rd spot. Now Torfin's Melody won at 65 to 1, and Lisa's Game ran 2nd at 100 to 1. That trifecta, if the favourite doesn't get into 3rd spot, and Faithful Son was 10 to 1, if that got into 3rd spot, that trifecta wouldn't have gone off. That would have been the pool, especially on the Queensland tote. No one would have had it. Torfin's Melody at 60 to 1, Lisa's Game 100 to 1, Faithful Son 10 to 1, and I went within an ace. That thing ran 4th, beaten half a length by Tie the Knot, and I had it with the anchor being a 60 to 1 just to win from the others. Very, very stiff. Anyway, what's this one here? Cox Plate. So you think, put it clearly on top by a long way. That paid $9.50 and $3. Got the trifecta. Got the trifecta easily. trifecta paid $1,600. Melbourne Cup 2006. Oh, there you go. There's Delta Blues and Pop Rock, first and second. Now, I got that trifecta. Got the trifecta in 6 picks. Says I won $1,100 from a $240 outlay. Yeah. So that's that one. And the Melbourne Cup 212. This is interesting too. This first 4 paid on the New South Wales tote. $1.4 million, was it? Where is it? Victorian trifecta, Victorian first 4. Ripped off. Oh, up here. New South Wales odds. Trifecta, 51,000, and the first 4, 1.467 million. Where I bet, I got paid out on the Victorian tote, and the first 4 paid 969,000. The difference between the 2 totes cost me nearly 10 grand. See that? 9,953.86. I put on the first 4. I went that deep where that line is. Practically half the field. Not quite. Anyway, I put it on for... I had the trifecta. I outlaid 600 on the trifecta. I outlaid 480 on the first 4 for 2%. And the trifecta paid me 2,297, and the first 4 paid me 19,388. So all up for the day, my outlay was $1,368, and I got back $22,298 for a profit of nearly 21,000. So they're my big punting days: are Melbourne Cups, Caulfield Cup and the Cox Plate. All the rest of the times I punt, I'm barely punting. I'll show you. $80 at a time. So it takes them a long time to get money out of me. But if I collect generally and have a good day, I go ahead in leaps and bounds. So I'll just drop that down. And I'll show you. What about that? Music to Midnight. $28.06. Jeez. Ugh. And the first 4. I'll show you what I do when I put on a parlay. So we go back to racing. Hardly any races left. New Zealand. They're all done. We'll see what tomorrow is then. So Flemington tomorrow, and click on that. That's the first race. I'd go to my horse racing program. I go to data. Tomorrow is going to be the 23rd. Click on that. Caulfield, Flemington, FFF race 1. A few horses have had 1 start. They're a bit dodgy, those races with only 1 starter. See the zeros. So just for number 10, Savvy Bell. So we put in Savvy Bell. We'll put that in. It won't take fixed odds. We'll take top tote plus. So that goes into your bet slip there. Race 2. Only a small race. Have a look what the program says. Spin Your Hopes comes up on top. Spin Your Hopes. Oh, Pin Your Hopes. There you go. Put that in there. It's gone in. Race 3. Race 3. Isn't it just wonderful? Just click on the races. All my programming's done for me. It's just, I just can't get over it. It picks out the Terex. So it's scratched. So we'll go back to my program and we click on the Terex and scratch it. So now it's got our positive move on top. So you pick that. Race 4. Daniela Rosa. Native Land. Daniela Rosa. Native Land. Number 3. Top Tote. Race 5. Powerworks. Central Bell. Not much is really standing out, although Powerworks, we'll have a look at those. They're equal. Powerworks and Central Bell. Powerworks, Weir, Powderworks, Central Park Bell, 40s. I usually don't let odds worry me either, so I take the value. It might be scratched, it's got no jockey listed on it at this stage, so just put it in just for fun. I'm not going to put it on, I'm just showing you what we're doing. Race 6, how to put on a parlay in Sportsbet. Race 6, Rich Jack, Villapoto. Both of them 43 of them on 46 points. Rich Jack, Bond Rocket, Villapoto. Brandon Stockdale, Rich Jack. So put that in. And race 7, Bold Sniper. That's the Queen's horse. Bold Sniper. And Manalapan. Bold Sniper. Manalapan. I don't mind that horse. Shit 60s. I'll put that in for value. Race 8. Luke's. That's not a bad horse, that. Must be coming back from a spell. Luke's. Put that in at fixed odds. Race 9. Astro Castro. Oh, first starters. Dodgy. Vinny Vega, number 7. No, it's not. Where is it? Yes, it is. Put that in, Top Tote. So they're all in. You can see there's 9 selections there. I go each way, so you have to go and move all of those into each way mode. I'll just show you before I go. I'll go back to win. So doubles is what a parlay Formula 2 is in Sportsbet. Doubles. See, it says 36 combinations. If you were to put $1 in there, that means you've got $1 into the win of every one of these horses, and they multiply in twos. So you don't need to get them all up. You just need to get at least 2, if not 3 or 4, out of those 9 to win, and they'll multiply each other. Not all in one hit. It'll go that horse by that horse, then that horse by the next horse, then that horse by the next horse again, and the next winner, and so on, and adds all up. Now that's 36 combinations, so that would cost you $36, as it shows you here. $36 for $1. That's a true dollar, not a half, not 50 cents. Now what happens is when you change that to each way in here in this cart, it halves. because your dollar's got to go four ways. Your winning dollar goes into the win of the next horse's win, and your win dollar goes into the place of the next horse's place. Then your place dollar of that horse has to go across to the win, and then the place comes down to the place of the next horse. So that's four single dollars that I've mentioned. So your cost of your ticket becomes 4 times as much. So when you put a 1 in there and it shows you the cost, because it's showing so many combinations, it's really only on for 50 cents. I'll show you each way. Each way. Each way. Each way. So there they all are each way now. Now the bet went from 36 for $1 to double to 72. And that's true and correct. There's 72 combos. But it's got the dollar in there. It's only really a half of your bet. If you want that to be on for a full dollar, you need to put a 2 in there. And that bet then becomes $144. It's $4 times what it would have been for a single dollar into the win only, because of the 4 ways that dollar has to be spent. I know it's a bit confusing and tricky, but you will get your head around it if you try to think about 2 horses and you want $1 each way into the next horse. If that horse wins the race, the win dollar has gone into the win of the next horse. The win dollar has gone into the place of the next horse. There's $2. The place dividend has gone across into the win of the next horse. That's $3. And the place dividend is going down to the place of the next horse. So that if that horse doesn't win and it only runs a place, you still get a collect. You still get that win amount and that place amount all going down into the place of the next horse. So I hope I've explained that to the best that I can. Otherwise there's no hope for us. Anyway, forget all that. I've shown you what that is and how much that it cost for the full dollar. How this would how this calculates. I made a program, a Formula 2 program for an 8-horse parlay, and for a full dollar, let's just have some guesses here of what horses might pay and which ones win. Say the first one pays $5 and $2 for the place. The next one doesn't run a place at all. This one pays $3 for the place. That one pays $5 and $1.80 for the place. We get another place getter, pays $2.20. We don't get anything there, and we don't get anything there. So it's cost you $28. I mean, $112. That's just for $28 is just for the win, or $28 is just for the place, but to have it each way, $112 for the full dollar. Your return is $89. That's what you get back from that ticket. Now you've only got two winners and one place getter out of your 8 selections. So you've had a shitty day, they've paid nothing, but you've still got $89 back. Now if you get one more winner, say we make this one winner here, say it's a $10 winner, $3 a place. There's what your ticket return is, $372. These parlays, as a mate of mine calls them, a loss minimisation plan. But I don't care what he calls them, because I don't like losing my dough. I have a shotgun approach, a splattergun approach, where I can get a whole heap of selections and let them all go and meld into each other and get some of my money back, if not get a profit if I get more than 2 or 3 home. So that's more or less how the parlay Formula 2 works. You don't need to get them all, you only need to get some, minimum of 2, and it all depends what they pay to get a return. So I won't save that. That's about that in a nutshell. That's what I get up to. Hope you didn't get bored to death. Hope you learnt something. Cheers.